Good afternoon. My name is Anneke Bull, and I'm your host today. On June 10th, I was going to pick up some furniture at Bliss on J Street and found my car, when I drove up, blocked by a big truck. And from it, all panels were loaded, and people started to look like putting them together already. So when the truck left and I could proceed, my interest was piqued and I wanted to know all about it. So I went back on J Street and where to drop in, but Ambition, for example, and found there my guest, and she is going to tell you all about it. And her name is Shilpa Darivemula. And here is Shilpa Darivemula to tell us all about it, where she got the idea and how she managed to put it actually to work.
Well, the idea came from a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk by Candy Chang. If I don't know if anyone knows what TED Talks are, but it's a website on the internet, TED.com. A lot of ideas are out there by new artists and innovators. And one of the artists that I saw was Candy Chang. And she basically had a presentation on her work in New Orleans, where she put a Before I Die board in memoriam of a friend who passed away on this desolate building in the center of the city.
Yes.
And so she talked about the reactions to the board, how people wrote on it, how some of the funny ones, some of the sad ones, some of the touching ones. And she just kind of talked about the idea of sharing this communal space to create community, to encourage creativity, and to inspire change in the way you live your life and how you reflect on it. And I thought it was a fantastic piece of work. So, and I also saw online that it was all over the world. It's in every language. It's
Oh, really?
yeah, it's in all these different languages, all over the United States, of course. And so, one of the first thoughts was why I wasn't in Schenectady. So I talked to the Kenny Center. It's the community center that's connected with Union and Schenectady, it's a fantastic place. So I talked to Angela Tatum and Janet Sweeney there, and they immediately put me in contact with Lisa Perazzo.
Excuse me to interrupt
Yeah,
you,
go ahead.
but aren't Angela and her colleague also union graduates?
No, they're not union graduates. They are union staff.
Oh, union staff.
Union staff, yes. And they've helped many community
Okay,
projects
then it's
happen.
the name.
Yes. And so Angela and Janet put me in contact with Lisa Perazzo, who works at Proctor's and is also on City Council.
Yeah.
And so she and Becky Jarzinski and Jim Salengo of
That is the downtown
DSIC.
Yeah, the DSIC, the
Yeah.
Downtown Schenectady Improvement
Exactly,
Corporation.
exactly.
So here we have the Schenectady community, Union College,
Right.
and the Downtown Schenectady Improvement Corporation.
Exactly. And we met at Cafe Apostrophe in March or so. And we talked about the project, and they put in their input and how to go about it, how to get the permits, how to set it up. And so I applied for a grant from Union and got some money to cover the cost of the board. And then I had help from facilities and some engineering students to design the board. And then facilities, Mike Connolly, Mike Bruce, and Aaron, they built the board. They actually did, let's say, a majority of the actual work, building the board, putting it together, and then have enlisted themselves to help move it around all summer, which is awesome. And so it was really nice to see like how quickly the community came together at Union and even in the Schenectady community. Lisa Perazzo got the permit through some application process, and then we managed to bring it all together. And Union students helped paint it, photograph it, and all that. And so now it's on J Street. It's been there for about 2 weeks, and that's kind of what happened. So.
And speaking to the business owners today, and I saw them welcoming on that rainy morning, very much interested and so on, and approving of it. And I heard so they were also part of a meeting and about the location and all. And was that very, very obvious and very quick that J Street was chosen?
Kind of, yes. I think it was one of the first locations we thought of. Actually, I had the idea of moving it around came from Lisa Prazzo and Jim Salengomore and Becky, because they wanted, as a union student, I'm not fully aware of the vastness of Schenectady. We kind of know what we know, and we don't really know beyond, or if we can, what those locations are. So it was really nice to have people in Schenectady tell us that, oh no, it'd be really great here, or it'd be really great there. So there was a lot of discussion and back and forth on where we should move
Communication.
Communication, exactly. It kind of brought back that whole concept. So the idea of moving it came from them. So that's why the board is the way it is. It's positioned a triangular. It's like a trifold, I don't really know, kind of board, so that it can fit around poles and on sidewalks, as opposed to just putting it up on a building. That would have been one of the options, is painting it up onto a side of a building as a permanent fixture, but we made it more transportable that way, with a rain roof and all that. So
that's
indeed. Kind of what happened.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the structure. Indeed, you could even put it on J Street,
right?
Around one of the trees. You can read about it on Facebook.
Right.
And if you have a computer, you go Before You Die, Schenectady.
Yeah, and more like Before I Die.
Before
I Die, yeah. Schenectady.
Before I Die.
Yeah.
Before I Die. And Before I Die, Schenectady. Who keeps track of the Facebook comments?
Right. Actually, it's a community that does that. You can post photos up onto the page. Anyone can post photos. We have a few managers, or admin as they call it, on the Facebook page. So there's some union students, some, obviously Lisa Prazzo, Becky Jarzinski, Jim, all of them are admin on the board. And they can edit posts, remove posts, put on posts. But basically it's been a lot of us posting to it, not just one person. So it kind of reflects that.
So here's a Facebook illiterate. Okay. Before I Die,
right.
There's Schenectady. So I see what's coming up. And then there were many photos. All right. So what you are saying, that is not necessarily all you're doing.
No.
That means that Becky Jarzinski, part of the Improvement Corporation, or Jim Salengo, the director, or even Lisa Parazzo.
Yeah.
Somebody goes there, takes a picture, and then puts it on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Community again, then.
Yeah, it's all about community.
Community again. So, and people make comments, and I saw comments on comments, so to speak.
Yeah.
So really, a real community project. Well, what I hope with this program, and thank you so very much for being here, and congratulations, you graduated this year. But staying in the area and going for medical studies?
Medical studies in Albany Med.
Albany Med. Well, in the medical world, communication is also very important.
Very true. Very true.
So the structure up, but is going to leave on over the weekend.
Monday.
From Monday, it will be removed from J.
Yep.
And where is it going?
On Monday, July 1st, it's moving from J Street to Upper Union Street. So somewhere along that entire pathway, it'll be
somehow the Upper Union business area.
Mm-hmm.
And but the spot has not been decided yet.
I think it has been, but I'm not aware of it yet. We're working with obviously some community members, and we hope to get their input on where they want to see it put. We don't want to get in anyone's way or obstruct anything. So if anyone desires to have it in front of their board, or in front of their business, they can let us know, and no problem putting it there.
And then it will be there for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yes.
And from Upper Union, it will go, you told me, to Central Park.
Yes.
Ambitious plan.
Yes.
But with young people and children, maybe you have to put a little ladder up, or that they can ride on it. Because I noticed one of the pictures was someone on a bike and riding at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one that was written on June 10th was Love Life, and then very big.
Yes.
That was the one I saw. So for Central Park, and a great spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because a lot of people are in the park over the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Central Park, it might go to the Jerry Burrell Park.
I think we said Hamilton Hill area.
That is
Hamilton Hill, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that, but what I meant by that is Hamilton Hill Arts Center. It might go there, or might go to Jerry Burrell. We have to confirm more contacts. I think we let that go for now.
Okay.
When it gets closer to the date, we'll definitely confirm.
Well, from what I hear, the project was in very close contact with the people in the area there. Mm-hmm. So from what I've seen, I think it will come to an agreement. People have different ideas, right. And the whole project, of course, Hamilton Arts Center is the first that comes to mind, right. Yeah. With its history and all in the community.
Of course.
But also, and I might be wrong, but I believe at the Jerry Burrell Park, there's also an opportunity for kids to have lunch.
Right.
So, that's not the end of it, is it?
And then it goes to Union College.
And
it hasn't been at Union yet. So
and it hasn't.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there for 2 weeks. And then a professor at Union has asked to keep it for her course. So she'll be keeping it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Then where is it going to end up? But it's going to have a purpose. It's going to be used in a course. What? Psychology, history, arts?
It's actually a course by a really awesome professor at Union, Professor Carol Weiss. And she is teaching a course called Death and Dying. And I believe it's I want to say psychology. I don't know. I shouldn't say anything because I really don't know exactly what subject it is, but I think it spans all subjects because it's about death and dying.
That's at
that level. It's not even I'm not quite sure.
It sounds like it.
And so she's going to keep it.
That is great then.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. It has a home.
Not only has it a home, but it is then sort of the centerpiece maybe for discussion.
It could be. I don't know what she plans to do with it. But,
But this, if you want to talk about the community, if you want to talk about communication, the value for people, maybe the remark about that moment of contemplation and all. So I think that's a great future then for that triangular,
awesome. For that triangular structure of art.
There.
Yeah, I agree.
And that is really great. I was thinking, oh, it would be too bad to just have it disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And at the train station, there's a big wall, not immediately at the train station, but there was a graffiti, and it was called was written, Susan is a pinhead. And I thought, well, maybe, I don't know what happened. I meant to look at it, but I don't know what happened with with that wall. Whether it was taken away, actually. But the name lived on because you have in downtown Schenectady, Pinhead's Susan. So I thought maybe it could end up there against the wall. But what a nice place to be, to be there for instruction. And
I think it's important.
And it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And now I heard from Tammy, who is the gal at the parking lot.
Oh yeah.
That she said, "Oh, people are really using it," and I think what she might not have realized that it wasn't another one, but she must have noticed, different writing and assuming it was different. But I believe you just erase it. It's just the one, right? The one structure, and then you erase the messages when it is totally full.
We basically document it with photos. The plan is to document it with document what's written. It's not. We don't think that it should keep a permanent place on the board. We would love to keep everyone's on there, but the idea is that it's always open for discussion. And our wishes change all the time before we die. What we want to do and how we want to live our lives, and it changes all the time. So, in that spirit of the change, we wipe down the board and make more space, and it's amazing within a day how many things fill up. And the idea is that hopefully maybe put these photos up in some location. We were thinking maybe Cafe Apostrophe, but at the end of September, put it all up so that it's like a gallery that you walk in and you kind of just read, some funny things written, some touching, intimate things, and so.
That is a great idea, but I have to laugh because the ideas of what might be on your bucket list indeed can change.
Right.
So but that's refreshing, actually. I wonder if someone might have put something on it and come back and put something different on it. But
I might be guilty of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it because some other opportunity or some other thought?
There's a lot that I think we all want to do, and that's the beauty of it. And you talked about, I think you mentioned at one point the fact that the professor in this course is taking this board. I think it's very apt that she does because, we through the art of this board are talking about some very serious topics, about the end of life and the concept that it does end, and many of us live every day without thinking about it, without changing what things are if they're not going the way we want them to go, or trying to, make those wishes happen because time is limited. And it's funny that I'm saying this. I hope not to live a short life, but I think it's very important that we reflect on this regularly as people in this community. So the idea of the board and the concept that it is removed and your ideas change, that's all part of growing, and the only thing constant in life is that change. So talking about it on that board is one way to do it. So if you're one of those people that wants to write 10 things because you keep changing your mind, well, that's fine because that's
you don't
life.
Have to be limited.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that is it.
You don't have to pick. If you are a one person
if you're very
thing,
serious, you think, oh, that must be the one thing that you really.
It's not just one thing.
But that depends on your age. how much time do you still have?
And how much have you experienced in life?
That
right?
is
Yeah.
well, it's in a sense the talk on J Street.
Mm.
It was welcome. People notice constantly. People either writing or reading.
I mean, actually, the lovely owner at Crossroads, the new store, Crossroads, she today lent us a bucket and a sponge to wipe down the board. So I think, it's interesting because it creates this not only community on the board, but community around the board. And now, like you said, on Facebook as well, community online, just around this concept that we all share and we all think about at some point. So I think it's really nice to see like how everyone's pitching in. People are wiping down profanities if they see it. People are like letting me know. I've gotten emails like, oh, this has been spray painted, you need to fix this. Or so then I come in and I like cover it with chalk. So we're constantly on the lookout because we do know things happen.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see it's a neighborhood watch.
Yeah, that's
very
that's
nice.
the impression I got,
Mm-hmm.
and
awesome.
that then it was left up then to the business owners to step up and what they thought was not appropriate, remove what was not appropriate.
Took ownership.
To do that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you need to get permission from Candy or Candy
Oh.
Chang, or is it something you can just take and do?
Option two.
It's
Option two. Yeah. You can just take it and do it. There's online. It's like a Before I Die toolkit. You can order $100 toolkit. We didn't do that, or she has a free PDF online, which you really need to do. And they don't really explain this as much because it depends on every city and the rules in each city. So you do need to get a permit. We have a revocable permit, and then you need to find people that can build a board. And then get it approved, get insurance coverage, get all these different things, so that it's actually a public structure. It's a piece of public work. So
I know when I came here and the weather was so nice,
Yeah.
I a long time ago, but said, oh, why aren't people out? Sitting outside, and well, then I hear from people who own a business and would love to set something aside that there are all kind of rules and and price to pay. Did that? But that was facilitated then by Lisa Perazzo. Did that have to come before the city council?
Yes, it did. It did, and they kindly approved it. So it's very heartening to see that.
Oh,
as well.
I think they were presented with a wonderful opportunity to create a sentiment and a feeling of community in Schenectady. And I think which community couldn't use that, or which city couldn't use
Schenectady
that?
is an amazing community.
And I think the fact that it is going to different places, if I were teaching the course that Carol Weiss is teaching, and you were making pictures, right? You were making photos of some of the text.
Yes.
It would be very interesting to find out what are people wanting to do in the different locations.
Mm-hmm. Does it change? the location?
And the city council might even want to study that and get an idea. And it's in different neighborhoods. So that is wonderful that it is making that travel, and so here it is. There you were, and you were saying, why not in Schenectady? Now, did you go out and ask? Or did you say, it should be in Schenectady? And then took it from there?
I actually, at Union, in my 4 years at Union, have been lucky enough to work with many members of the community. And one of the coolest things I saw about the community was just how connected everyone is. You drop one name, that person knows that person, who knows that person, and you're just amazed with how people are so connected and ready to help. And I thought that this community is a community that could always, share more and has the capacity to. It's already wonderful. So the Before I Die board just seemed like an addition to what's already here, that sense of connection and community. So it was awesome.
That is so good to hear. And I have been a long time resident, and I chose to live in the city, but the job of my husband sort of directed us to the suburbs.
Right.
But coming from Europe, I saw this split, and suburbs are not real life. And I think the project really pulls the community together. And for all the time I've lived here, I have really appreciated what Schenectady had to offer in the arts and so many ways. And it seemed to be highlighted by this project. Thank you for doing that. And again, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right.